Okay, everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for joining our another Thursday session. This week's topic is about getting a little bit more comfortable within discomfort. I'm really excited and really looking forward to talking to everybody. Before we get started, I just wanted to ask if everyone could just put themselves on mute, just as we're discussing some things. And then as we open the floor, then you can definitely unmute yourself when we go into further discussions as a group. Okay, but to get started, I wanted to thank Sanatana Dharma Prabhu again for joining us in this conversation. So my first question to get started in this specific topic is, because we're talking about gaining more comfort within discomfort, why is it that people seek comfort so much to begin with?
Okay, comfort. Well, we need to understand that we are people who love to settle in, right? We like to be settled, we like to be sorted, and very naturally, we try to become comfortable. I'll just give an example. The moment we go to a new place, right? You go to a new place, you are going to be looking for people with whom you can relate to, connect to, and thus feel comfortable, right? You try to get those things that make you comfortable. You try to do things which you are comfortable. Because what happens is everybody is gifted with certain capacity. And somehow we all know that we have been gifted with certain kind of capacity, ability. Yeah, we have it. And we love to operate within that.
Mhm.
Yes, this is something that is very natural. Why does this usually happen? Is okay, I'll tell you something. This is from the Bhagavad Gita, right? This is coming from the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita talks about the three modes of nature, right? The first is the mode of goodness, the second is the mode of passion, and the third is the mode of ignorance. We call it in the Sanskrit as Sattvagun, Rajagun, and the Tamagun, right? So usually the tendency that we have is, well, inertia. It feels safe. Complacency, stagnation, be where you are. This is called the comfort zone. Well, and everybody wants to be like, well, I can do this. I can do this and I'll do this much. This is a tendency, and this is the activation of the mode of ignorance, right? This keeps you in that comfort zone. If you go to the mode of passion, yes, the Rajoguna, Lord Krishna talks about Rajoguna here, that is like the burnout zone. People in the mode of passion, this is like too much. It's like taking a rubber band and you just stretch the rubber band, stretch, and then at one point of time it just breaks. So this is that zone where people get into anxiety, they get overwhelmed. In fact, later on, after too much of Rajoguna, what is the result of too much of Rajoguna? People go to again that Tamoguna. Too much of overexertion, people get back to, ah, I had enough, now let me go back to my comfort zone, right? This is the second zone in which people operate about. The third one, I'll wait for you to question me. Then I'll tell you about the third one.
The mode of goodness. So how does then somebody find, I guess you could say, like the balance between pushing yourself, but then not overexerting yourself so much to the point where you then revert back into going back into your comfort zone?
Yes. And that's when, see, each and every one of us, I was just mentioning that you know your capacity. So now what is ideal, the mode of goodness? Now you asked me that question.
Mhm.
So, guys, let me just tell you, nothing is fixed. We are going impromptu. But I just really wanted to kind of get things out of her. So, the mode of goodness or sattva which you have just indirectly asked me, is the zone which is called as the stretch zone. You have a capacity slightly, a little more than what you can do. If you can do something like five, 5 units, well, make it 6 or 7. Slightly more than what you're capable of doing. This is called the stretch zone. And usually it is in this stretch zone that you need that extra effort. You get the learning, you adapt, and thus you have to take in some courage and then there is growth, right?
Mhm.
So the ideal way of becoming comfortable in something that gives you discomfort is to start with adding a little bit of discomfort. That's what we do when we are training in weights. I guess you have more experience of that than I do, right? If somebody, you hit the gym, the trainer is like, come on, go ahead, lift. I said, oh, wow, nice. I'm doing it so easy. He said, drop that one. I said, why? I was doing it. I could do 30 reps, 40 reps of these dumbbells. That's not the point. Keep it back. And you take now, that's 1 kilo. Now go for 2 kilos. Two. Okay, that's simple. Three, four, five. Okay, five is a little bit. Six. I'm not able to do six. Okay, all right. Go for 5.5 and do
Mhm.
it. So this is called something like this is a very commonly used concept of progressive overload. Yes, progressive overloading, which is you go into that stretch zone and you gradually increase that capacity, right? Yeah.
Okay, so you had mentioned that the gym is the example that you had given, and you have a trainer that's generally pushing you to reach the capacity that they know you can reach, but you don't think that you can necessarily reach it. You're still staying within that comfort until somebody pushes you to go outside your comfort zone. So if in life we don't necessarily have that trainer to necessarily push us in a direction that's going to cause us to reach our full potential, how would we then try to push ourselves to reach our potential versus still staying and thinking, oh, no, no, I don't think I could do that. I'm just going to stay here instead.
Yes. I would like to introduce two terminologies which the modern scientific world today talks about. The one is called as homeostasis, homeostasis bias. Homeostasis bias is the tendency of a brain to preserve the status quo. That's what is the terminology of neuroscience, which
Mhm.
means, okay, I'm at unit 5, just maintain that. No, no,
Mhm.
no. Just become comfortable. This is homeostasis bias. The second one is again, a very popular terminology, which is called as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity talks about the brain can grow when you're challenged a little by little,
Mhm.
right? That is something that leads to growth. So, well, in an absence of a person to motivate, usually when we get a person like a coach, a trainer, a guide who is motivating us from outside, it is we who have to build a purpose within our mind. Because usually, what's the tendency of the mind? Usually, the tendency of the mind is it prefers something that's predictable, right? Well, we take the example of suppose a guy running a marathon, right? And that person knows that, well, marathon is too big. I can maybe run like 4 kilometers. That's
Mhm.
it. And the person, the mind wants something which is predictable. I'll do the 4 kilometers and just feel a sense of joy. I'm not going to push. As soon as I end with four, that's it. It's done. So we like predictability. The second thing is the mind fears failures.
Yeah.
What if I go that extra half kilometer and I fail? I'm not able to do it. I'm gasping for breath. I go out of breath and I just collapse. No, I don't want to do it. So there's a fear of failure which is inbuilt.
Mhm.
That is something that resists the mind to change. And another thing that mind is something that loves to maintain its old scripts. Mind doesn't want to change those scripts. I want to maintain that. Yes. So these
Mhm.
three things that I just mentioned is the nature of mind. That number one, it prefers predictability. Yes, you've done it. Yes, do it again and just be happy about it.
Mhm.
Number two, fear of failure. And number three is mind clings on to that old scripts.
Mhm.
So now how do we do it? Again, I would like to introduce a concept that I learned in the corporate, especially when I was in the industry, corporate industry. It talks about Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese terminology for continuous improvement, right? Improving continuously. Small, continuous, consistent improvements. It's powerful. Even if you read this Atomic Books, a book by James Clear, it talks about 1% improvement every day. And by the end of the year, you are improving something like exponentially. It becomes 37.78% overall improvement that happens. So because what happens is we need to understand this. We need to get the right scripts. Because you asked me something practical. If you're not able to, have somebody from outside to motivate you, to inspire you, then what do? Then you need to basically reform your scripts. The mental scripts have to be changed. Number one, if there is too little stress, there is a huge, or rather, I wouldn't say huge possibility. It is most likely you're going to be stagnated and remain where you are because there is absolutely too little stress. If there is too much of stress, it's going to be a nervous breakdown. You're going to break down, you're going to collapse, you're going to get burnt out. But if we have that right amount, we need to find that sweet spot. What is that right amount of overload that I want to give myself that will keep me challenged and that will lead to the ultimate transformation? Yeah. So it all starts with the mental scripts. You have to clear it. Yes, we have to get the mental script that we need to, in order to grow, you need to challenge yourself. You cannot keep doing what you are doing already. Progressive overload is a must. And unless you have that genuine desire to grow, well, you're going to be where you are. And if you have to grow, then you'll have to pay the price of growing. Yes.
Growing pains, essentially. You have to slowly build your way up through growing pains.
True.
And so you're saying, like, in order for us to figure out how to find that common balance between not pushing yourself too hard, but also not going back into complacency, is just increasing 1% slowly. And it might sound like it's going to be too slow of a process, but like you said, as you accumulate everything within the year, you'll actually would have increased by quite a bit. You just have to be patient within the process. Okay, that's great. I also wanted to ask then, what kind of teachings within Bhakti Yoga can help us build a better form of a relationship with discomfort? How can Bhakti Yoga teachings be applied in this situation when it comes to gaining more of a relationship with being uncomfortable?
The very essence of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I would say the crux or the take home in terms of the application, is one of the mantras that Lord Krishna says. He talks about how the phenomena in the world without is transient. He speaks this verse, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhada, Agama Apaino Anityas Tam Stitiksha Subharta. Heat or cold, like or dislike, honor and dishonor. These are all the various situations that's going to challenge your body, your mind, and your ego respectively. Heat and cold for the body, likes and dislikes, pleasure or pain for the mind, and to speak about the ego, honor and dishonor for the ego. So these situations will keep coming and going. So it comes, it stays for some time, it goes ahead. So what is Krishna telling us in this particular shloka? He's talking about tolerating the discomfort in order to progress. Yeah, he talks about that. So Bhakti Yoga is, the school of Bhakti always talks about this, that if you want to grow, you have to endure that discomfort. And one of the major obstacles that come during the course of this is the mind. It's all in the mind, right? It's a mental game. Because if you again look at the 6th chapter, it talks about Bandhur Atmat Manastasya Yena Atmaiva Atmana Jita Anat Manastu Shatrutve Vartet Atmaiva Shatruvat. This mind, when you befriend your mind, or you control your mind, it's your best friend.
Yeah.
And an uncontrolled mind is your worst enemy.
That's true.
Right? So that's one of the responsibilities we have. We need to tame the mind. And how usually you tame a mind? Mind is as mighty as, or rather, it's so very difficult. We can call many times mind is called compared to a monkey. Mind is compared to monkey in our scriptures. Why? Because just as monkey is so very hyperactive creature, it keeps jumping from one tree to another tree. The mind is so hyperactive, it keeps jumping from one thought to the other thought, right? Yes. So how exactly, does anyone know how you catch a monkey and you tame a monkey? You go just head on with the monkey, that guy is going to bite you, scratch you, show your teeth. We have a lot of experience of monkeys and especially in Vrindavan. You cannot play with them. They're very, very, very super smart creatures. But still, you know how the monkey is tamed? Yeah. There is a bowl of peanuts which is kept by that person who wants to catch the monkey. It's very, very, very interesting. So what the monkey does, monkey loves peanuts, especially if they're roasted, a little salted. Like so the monkey puts the hand in that bowl. The hand goes in the bowl very smoothly, but when the monkey clings on to certain peanuts, yes, even you hold a little bit bunch of peanuts, the hand doesn't come out because you held on to that. And the monkey doesn't want to let go of the peanuts. He wants to hold on to those peanuts and try to pull out its hand. Doesn't work. And the guy who's supposed to catch the monkey is so very calm, cool, relaxed because he understands the mindset of a monkey. He doesn't run and come on, let me just run up and just go put the net on the monkey. No, he is cool. Just come slowly. And the monkey is looking, that guy's gonna come. I need to let go of this peanuts. Otherwise, I'm gonna be a slave forever. Now, just goes, he puts the net gradually because he knows the monkey is not gonna let go of the peanuts. And he captures the monkey and he starves that monkey. Starve. The monkey is expecting some food, no, starve.
Wow.
Starve, starve. And finally, the monkey, give me something. Well, you have to listen to what I say. Say, all right, I'll do whatever you say. Come on, dance. Whatever little energy the monkey dances, fine. You get one piece of peanut. That's how it starts. They take full control of the monkey. And taming the mind is very similar. You starve your body, you grow weak. You starve your mind, you become powerful. It starts with the starvation. And starving means not to give in to any whims of the mind right away. Having a control. Well, so that is something that Krishna talks about, right? He talks about it many times. Yeah.
Starving sounds very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. But well, starving not you don't have to starve the body, you have to starve your
No,
mind. Because the
exactly.
mind kind of tells you if I don't do this, I'll die.
Yeah.
That's when you have to challenge your mind and say, come on, you die and show me. Come on.
Yeah.
You're not gonna die.
No, it's true.
It's all lies.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
just
lies.
basically you're playing tricks on your own mind, essentially is what it is. You
True.
have to kind of maneuver around and figure out how to get over your, like you said, your the current scripts that you're currently replaying in your head that is your comfort zone. You have to then know, okay, this is the current script I'm telling myself, but if I want any growth or progress, the script needs to change. So that script needs to get erased. And so, in essence, needs to get starved, basically.
And also, because you mentioned about the Bhakti Yoga way, it really helps us with the mantra meditation. When we go for the mantra meditation, we chant this holy names, we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That, because the very meaning of mantra, Manastrayate iti mantra, it gives you that strength. It gives you that strength. Manastrayate, it gives you the strength to deliver the mind and to get control of the mind just like that.
Mhm.
It requires steady and consistent practice, but it works. Yeah.
I also then wanted to ask, because normally when you think about becoming comfortable within discomfort, generally people will try to take this in a practical sense in their material life, okay? Whether that is getting a promotion at work, whether that has to do with going to the gym, becoming fit, eating healthy. How do you then use these same tips, but then also apply them in your spiritual life as well?
Right. Because if you look at the material life, it's all about job, family, health, entertainment. Yes, and all these places also there's a lot of discomfort a person has to endure and grow. But when you talk about spiritual life, the very first thing is a person struggles to adjust. Look, because he's been repeatedly hammered with his material identity. It takes some time for a person to switch to the spiritual identity.
Mhm.
I will remember, by identity, I'm not just talking about the name. Name is one of the aspects. I remember we all had got received our initiation. And what happens at the time of initiation is your name changes. My legal name was Siddharth. So I was so very used to be called as Siddharth. So suddenly somebody called Sanatan Dharma Prabhu, Sanatan Dharma Prabhu. Initially, it used to take a few seconds to click. Oh, that's me. Come on. And now it's the other way around. Now somebody says Siddharth. Okay, well, no, nobody calls me Siddharth. Neither my parents call me Siddharth. So everyone knows me as Sanatan Dharma Das. So the point is, it's like that, and it's not just the name I'm talking about. I'm talking about very when a person is trying to become spiritual to identify, yeah, oneself as okay. Well, I'm now a spiritualist. It takes some time to come. And once, okay, fine, there's an identity shift that one makes, or there is some acceptance, then comes to move from comfort to commitment. In any school, any field of life, if you want to grow, there has to be a commitment. Yes. But then people break, like one of the commitments is, okay, fine, you turn up for the the forums where we have such kind of association. You tune in, that's a commitment required. When you are committing to a particular spiritual practice, yes, you want to do a spiritual practice, you need to do it every day. You can't just water the plant whenever you like. You need to water it every day in order to see tangible results. And spiritual life in our wisdom literatures is often compared to the growth of a plant and eventually it fructifies. It's called the creeper. It's a creeper of bhakti, which we need to regularly water through the process of hearing and chanting. We do that. That come from comfort to commitment.
Yeah.
That's another way you move from discomfort to comfort. You become comfortable in that discomfort. And then we all from an occasional, usually this is something that people like, occasional inspiration. Yeah, I get inspired, I'll serve. The day I get inspired, I'm going to open the Gita and read. The day I get inspired, I'll do my rituals. Wait for that inspiration, and that never comes. So from that so-called occasional spark of inspiration or enthusiasm which comes up, especially on the festival days or something like that, to go from that to consistency, consistent practice. Yeah, so this is how we have to. So entering spiritual life, beginners, they feel a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Oh, I'm going to this spiritual life, that, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And after some time, all comes down. Consistency is difficult.
Mhm.
And many times, the beginner, we usually use spiritual life as garnish. You know, garnishing. In the end, we put some coriander and garnish. Oh, that's what spiritual life is all about, garnishing. But no, it's a very integral aspect of our life for that change to come. That is the discomfort that one has to cross in the beginning while entering spiritual life. Okay, while one has entered, then to grow in the practice. Even the practice that we do, usually we do practice in certain quantities. Well, it comes to chanting, okay, I do it for 5 minutes. I reading, okay, I read maybe one half a page or something like that. Lectures, okay, I go once a month. But eventually, one has to grow beyond that and try to come to that particular necessary that needed diet. Just like, for example, in the beginning, young, very small toddlers, they have very minimal dietary requirements. They
Mhm.
hardly eat anything. But as a person is growing, the person's diet increases. Diet is very much proportional to our health, right? If we are eating the right amount, we are healthy. If we're not eating the right amount, we are not healthy. So
Mhm.
similarly, to have a healthy spiritual life, to come from a toddler to a healthy spiritualist, yes, that's we have to go beyond that spiritual stagnation and get more. And the third one is, well, after one has been consistent, then growing beyond one's own spiritual life and trying to even support others. Because one of the major qualities of a person who's a spiritualist is a compassion. Yes, one doesn't want self-deliverance. One wants to ensure that whatever message, the pearls of wisdom that one has gained, one wants to share it with everyone that one meets. So to develop that, okay, I need to self, people many times get into self-growth. I'll just grow myself. But one of the most important aspect of self-growth is to grow others. Each one teaches one while being taught by one, and that through by teaching and educating, even you grow in your depth of spiritual life. Yeah. but one grows. So I normally call it the PCM model. You
Mm-hmm.
know what does it ring a bell when I talk about PC and M? I guess some of you are smiling and some of you are really clueless. What's this PCM about? Yeah. PCM is what we used to study in our school days. It's physics, chemistry, and maths. If you're science students, you'll definitely know it. So similarly, we have a PCM for, okay, Jill is able to resonate. Probably, yes, bro, I've done that. I got through it. So PCM in our spiritual life, we talk about as P for preaching, C for counseling, M for managing. So some kind of service in that direction. Not that you have to do everything, right? If somebody's good at communicating and presenting the message of Godhead very efficiently, well, you can do that. That's a service. Somebody's good at mentoring, we call it counseling. You're good at growing up people in the spiritual life, giving care as caregivers. You can do that. Somebody's saying, okay, I'd like to organize programs and festivals and spiritual sessions and retreats. Well, you can do that. In all these ways, we contribute towards enriching others' lives, spiritually uplifting others' lives. That's something which is great. Yeah.
Okay, so from what I have understood from the things that you've discussed is that ultimately motivation will comes very fast, but also dies just as fast. If you don't have ultimately the discipline to continue to grow, then you'll always go back into your comfort zone. Association always is key in wanting to grow, whether it's in your material life or your spiritual life. And instead of trying to jump from 1 to 100, it's good to build and climb up the ladder one nook by one nook, slowly, 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 because then otherwise you might just fall. And it's okay if slips happen, but as long as you're consistently trying to move forward, that ultimately will get you to where you're trying to go.
Well, again, there's a lot of emphasis given on this, and I really believe in it. And because it's tried and tested, never break your streak,
Mhm.
right? Breaking the streak is bad.
Okay.
Even if one of the days your practice, you don't miss your spiritual practice, or for that matter, any discipline that you're trying to cultivate, don't miss it.
Yeah.
If you want to do it minimally, do it, but then don't make it a zero.
Mhm.
Because even a one is better than a zero,
Yeah.
way better than a zero, because you kept up your streak.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't lose your streak.
Okay. I like that. Okay, well, I wanted to take the time to open up the floor to everybody else in the group chat. I feel like everyone within this video really, I feel, resonated within this topic of conversation. So if anybody had any questions that they would like to ask, or even any just realizations that they've had in relation to this talk specifically, anything they experienced within this past week that they would like to share, we are more than happy to have a discussion. Jill. Yes, please go ahead. And I think we have to.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, can you speak a little more about starving the mind?
It's Kishore Chaitanya. Prabhu. Yes. Is it you, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. Okay. All right, Jill Prabhu. Is it okay if I can take that
Yeah,
one? Okay. You raised hand, but then you were not talking. I was like, my God,
Yeah.
from where he has developed this power to speak without opening your mouth? Then I realized it's Kishore Chaitanya Prabhu's. Yes, fine. Starvation of the mind. Starving the mind, again, is only possible. This is, again, my study, you can call it, when applied in realization, as something that you really are going to realize when you do it, actually. I'll tell you how. Now, suppose I want to get something. I want to get something which is going to be very priceless. And if I'm going to get something priceless, I'm willing to pay the price for it. Right? Suppose a fortune of $100 million, $100 million fortune. That's something I'm going to get. And what's the price to pay? The price to pay is I'll have to walk for like 2 continuous days Yes. And 2 continuous days I have to walk towards my destination and go and get that particular $100 million. Of course, you can take breaks occasionally, but you'll have to keep walking. You cannot take a car, you cannot take a flight. You have to walk and go through. What would you do? Can't pay the price. Thank you. Sure. We'll do that. So because 2 days of inconvenience is going to yield me something very great. I just gave a material example. So keeping the end result in mind, me starving the mind, what is it that I'm going to gain? Yes, that's very important. I'll just show a video. Just check if that comes. If it comes good, otherwise, yes. Here it is. I'll just show you guys this video. And Jill, I guess you'll have to wait. Is that okay? Yes.
Okay, sit in that chair. All right, here's the deal. Marshmallow, for you. You can either wait, and I'll give you another one if you wait, or you can eat it now. When I come back, I'll give you another one, so then you'll have two. But stay in here and stay in the chair till I come back, okay? All right. I'm gonna go do something and then I'll come back.
It smells yummy. Oh, it smells really good.
It's up to you. You can have it now or you can wait. Okay? I'll be back. Stay in the chair, okay? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna leave and then I'll come back, okay? So you can either eat it right now or you can wait. Either way, okay? Okay.
Just eat it. No patience. Yeah,
How'd you do?
he passed the test.
Did you do good? You did? Yeah. You wanted to eat it, didn't you? Yeah. So did I tell you to give you another one? Okay, now you can have both. You need them.
She just took the bait. Okay, so this was about starving the mind, which Chaitanya Kishore Prabhu was talking about. Kishore Chaitanya Prabhu. So they were
Prabhuji,
told that you tolerate one, you're going to get more. Yes, that was told to them. You need to just wait for some time till I get back, you get another one. So the child, he was waiting. Why? Because he knew if I wait patiently, I'm going to get the other one. Then I'll have two. But on the other hand, you saw that girl, as soon as she was talking, she just had it. And this is not something for just for fun. This was done as an activity. It's a very old video, shot probably in the early 90s. And what they did was these guys studied. These guys studied these kids as they went ahead. And the success they had in the school, the success they had financially, the success in the relationships, and success overall in the life. And they found out that those kids who showed that great deal of control, they were able to starve their mind. It's not the tongue, it's the mind that you got to starve. Those who were successful in starving the mind, they did much better in life than those guys who just gave in. Got it? So one of the things that even the principle that Krishna consciousness teaches, or any thing for that matter, is keeping the end goal in mind that you're going to get. And for that, well, we'll have to pay the price of tolerating the mind. That's one way. The second way of doing it, tolerating the mind, is I'm spending a little bit of time on this because this is very important, because this is something that's very much linked to our day-to-day success and our overall success in our life, in whatever walk of life we are in. Another very amazing principle of starving the mind is when we are living for the pleasure of somebody superior. Like kids, they want to starve. They're like, a lot of urge to do something wrong. Okay, but it'll earn me a bad name. I can't, get my parents in trouble. If I get in trouble, I'll get scolded. They have some principle they stick to, for which they starve. Similarly, in the Bhakti Yoga school, the disciple, the student, is very conscious that my actions are going to earn either a good or a bad reputation to my spiritual master. Those who are very deeply connected with the divine, my behavior will get a bad name. People will go, they will badmouth about God. You people are doing such stuff. So the principle of pleasing somebody superior, for the pleasure of my spiritual master or for the pleasure of God, I will do this. That's the highest principles. That's how we, tame the mind, and we can starve the mind. Okay. Yes, Jill Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Am I audible?
You're audible, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing this, Prabhu. I would, of course, would have want you to share more on this one, but I have this burning question. So I would like you to give some perspective on this. While you shared how there are three modes of nature, like goodness, passion, and ignorance, and in these three modes, how do we act when it comes to comfort and discomfort? Um, my question is that what to do in such a situation where um you have been okay, I'm just gonna take a scenario where I have been given a project or a task to finish in a very short amount of time. So that creates a pressure on me, and that kind of leads to discomfort. And it's little important. It's like a kind of it's like a priority. And then so how to deal with that, that discomfort?
Well, we need to understand, but there are two aspects of it. One is the Parkinson's law. See, the work expands within the time frame that we give it. You want to pack your bags for a tour. You can take 3 weeks to do that. You can take 3 hours to do that. Or you can do it in 30 minutes. It's how much time you give. Of course, if you talk about sadhus and brahmacharis and monks like me, I can pack my bags in 3 minutes. That's it. That's the time that it takes for me. But the whole point is that the work, it goes and fits exactly into the time that's given. It works like that. So it's up to our discretion that we need to be very much mindful. Time is it's a very important resource. So we need to create that kind of a time frame within which we want to optimally do something. Yes, this is the difference between people who are successful and a person who is not. They know exactly how much time to assign to a particular activity. Nothing less and nothing more. They do it in that particular time slot. Yes, this is very important, managing it, right? So when we get stressed, so much of stress is we have piled up too much. Yes, we kept piling up things. We knew when was the deadline. And we'll, oh, okay, fine. I'll do it in the 11th hour. Then there's going to be anxiety. Definitely, for sure. The anxiety is going to be there because you wasted a lot of time. That's why I always talk about this concept of storm and the calm time. You have the storm time and the calm time.
Yeah.
When the calm time, you're supposed to be preparing for the storm time. And then your storm time is not a storm time anymore. But if you're being very cozy and relaxed in your calm time, then you're going to cry in your storm time. Because these times keep coming in a cyclic fashion in our lives. The storm time and the calm time. Okay.
I
So
still
when you
remember.
identify your calm time and invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, upgrade your skills, invest in your mind, sharpen your intellect, become spiritually wise. So that's where holistically invest in yourself, your physical quotient, your intellectual quotient, your emotional quotient, your spiritual quotient. Yes, develop all of it. And then you, when the testing time comes, the storm time comes, that will really pay off. Otherwise, you're going to feel overwhelmed and stressed out. Yeah. Is that
Thank you
okay?
so much, bro. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank
We
you.
have Ram Chiranjeevi Prabhu. Yes. You can unmute yourself and you can talk.
Hare Krishna with the Natman Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
So Prabhuji, as the topic itself is a very interesting topic. So one doubt is when we are not when we are not a devotee, then that is a different scenario. But when we become devotee, also we'll face the challenging times where we have to quit and we have to take a decision like that. So at the time, mind will tell that because being a devotee, the principle of Sharanagati says that Krishna will protect, Krishna will take care. But mind will tell that Krishna will not protect you because you have not done sufficient devotional service, or you have missed some days book reading, or you are not so sincere in your heart. These are the questions mind will tell, and the two mind will pose these questions once the risky step has already taken.
Okay.
So
I
how
get it.
to handle this? You are able to understand the question today.
Yes, I've realized all this.
Yeah, yes, right.
Yes. I've realized it not just once, twice. I've realized it all my life. Yes, bro. Thank you for this question. I just want to rephrase your question in a way that even the other audiences they get it. So he's trying to ask a question like when we as spiritualists there is actually a principle that Krishna protects his devotees. Right? That's a principle. But then mind tells, oh, you are not a devotee. You have not done sufficient devotional service. You have missed so many practices. You've been lax. What's the quality of your devotional service? I don't think Krishna is going to help you. But what you do is you already taken a step, and then you expect now Krishna, please protect me. You've gone. You're not consulted. You take the step now. Again, the first thing that we need to do, I've learned this from Mahatma Prabhu, is learn the art of forgiveness. Many times we don't move ahead in life because we don't forgive ourselves. Yes, to err is human. We have made mistakes, but to forgive is divine. And the first person we need to forgive is ourselves. Right? We can make mistakes. We had made mistakes. We have made mistakes. We are making mistakes and we will make, but let's make new ones. Right? Let's make new mistakes, but not the same ones. So first and foremost, protecting devotees is a principle by which Krishna does follow. So what's the only thing that's there within our hands? To become a devotee. But that's going to take time. What to do if we are not yet a devotee? Well, behave like one. If I were, okay, your mind is telling you are not a devotee. All right. But how would a devotee respond in this situation? How would a devotee make decisions in this situation? How would a devotee talk in these situations? We try to visualize an ideal superior who we look up to. What would this person do in this situation? I will try to follow in that footsteps. Right? I'll try to do that. I'm protecting, not protecting, that's his business. I'll do my job to behave like a devotee. That's what I would do and I've done. Even I don't consider myself a devotee. No, I'm not. I'm far from it. Being a devotee is a very big thing. But definitely I can try to behave like one. And that's something which will attract mercy. Is that all right, Prabhu? You can unmute yourself, yeah.
Yes, bro. But there will be some phase where you will be anxious, like from comfort zone to discomfort when you get into it. From discomfort zone, again, if you want to settle, some constant anxiousness will be there. So at the time, mind will pose these tricky questions.
That's what.
Sharanagati principles will
Yes,
not work
true,
for
true.
you like that.
Mind is something that's only going to, put soil in your plants. It's going to be putting sand. What we have to do is, well, here tell the mind, all right, Prabhu, very nice. You're giving me very good guidance. Your thought process is all very awesome, but I want to stick to the plan. I'm going ahead. This is what I've learned from the scriptures. This is what I've learned from my superiors. I am going ahead in this direction. And then when you start going ahead, the journey may be dark, but the mind will completely shut off when you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You see that ray of hope? So till then we'll have to walk. So what if we don't see? Sometimes we are stuck. What if we don't see? Again, this is taught in the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam talks about three principles: Dharma, Vipra, Achyuta, Ashraya. The Pandavas always were following these three principles. Dharma is what the scriptures talk. Vipra is what the devotees instruct. And Achyuta is your spiritual practice, chanting his names. If we are sticking to these three principles, we don't have to worry about defeat or victory. That's gonna come no matter what. Let it be. You've won. Just by taking shelter of these three principles, you will always be a winner. Dharma, Vipra, Achyuta, Ashraya. If you're taking that particular path, just keep going ahead. You're already a winner. So that's why once I told this statement right in this forum. In spiritual life, the success is not in the trophy won, it's in the race won. Right?
Thank
So
you.
let's do it. Thank you. Anyone else who would like to make any a comment? You have a question?
Bola.
Okay. Ebola, you'll have to unmute yourself. Yes.
I'm trying. Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, please, sir. Yes, thank you for the delightful session as usual. For discomfort, I feel that over time I've learned that it seems like if life even spring forth from discomfort. Let's talk about the seeds. When you put them in the soil, they have to struggle through the darkness of the sand to emerge out. And we animals, so to speak, we have to come out through the discomfort of labor to come into life. So I feel that everything new existence comes out of discomfort. So we have to be able to go through the stress or whatever experience of discomfort to progress or to grow. But my question, sir, is, during this period, we've learned that fine, discomfort is necessary. It's how life evolves. But usually, while we are in that experience that is bringing the discomfort, we don't live in isolation, probably. We live with other people that impacts how we respond to that situation. They could even be because of the discomfort, not necessarily a situation, maybe a person, right? Or event or anything. How do we make sure that how do we control the emotion? Because for me, the big part of the discomfort is not the discomfort itself, it's not the experience, it's the emotions that it brings about in you. For instance, maybe forgiveness or anger or worry, even the anxiety and fear is not so much for me, but the other negative emotions, like how do I make sure that I don't become compromised? My spirituality is not compromised by these emotions that the discomfort brings about. We already know we have to sit in discomfort for us to grow and progress, but how do we make sure that those things that it comes with, like sometimes like it may be a person, like I will never forgive that person. You're so angry that you start to say things you're not supposed to say or act a certain way, and then you call yourself back. Okay, come on, you know better. You shouldn't have acted like that. But in the moment, it's so hard to control it. You know what I mean? Because those emotions, maybe it's ego centered. I don't know. But how do I make sure that when I'm going through the discomfort, the emotions that it brings about doesn't go out of control? I'm able to control it, contain it, so that I still remain my person. I know that I'm going to evolve, but I don't want to mess me up along the process of my evolution. Do you understand what I mean, sir?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we'll have to take yet another whole session on managing emotions.
Next week's
Managing
topic,
emotions.
maybe.
Yes, you've given us. Thank you so much. You gave us a seed for the next week's topic. Well, I'll try to give it in a nutshell and then we will definitely discuss in depth about this. Because managing emotions is a very, very necessary thing to do if you want to go ahead. Especially the people who get hurt very easily by something very small that is spoken or something that's done. They get stuck up. They get stuck up right there. They cannot progress. So this art of sweating off small things, just let it go, is something that we learn from the crane. Yes, there's a crane. What does a crane do? The crane stands in a pond, still, very still. And there are so many fishes who go and hover around it, but the crane stays very still. Why? Because the crane is waiting for a big fish to come. Because these small fishes, suppose you grab one small fish, all the other small fishes are going to run away. And then the crane, the hunger is not satisfied, and the fishes are all now on guard. He's not going to get anything. So he's waiting for that one big fish to come out. And as soon as the one big fish comes, the crane immediately grabs on to that and walks away with its food. So this is a principle that the scriptures talk about from the crane, learning from the crane. Now, how is this connected to emotions? Emotions take a great deal of energy, and our energies are limited. So we have to spend our energy in that right direction for the right cause. If we end up spending our energy for small things, we won't have any energy left, any emotion left when it matters the most. That's the basic principle. So emotional disconnect and emotional connect is something which is emotional, managing the emotions. We need to connect with those things and people who matter, and we need to disconnect from things, situations, and people who do not matter to us. Because we start caring about every small little thing, we would be deprived of all the energy which is required to do all the constructive stuff. Right? So that is where the clarity comes in place. The person who can emotionally disconnect and connect, they are the persons who have a solid clarity. They're very focused, highly focused on what is the goal, like the crane's focus. It waits for that big fish to come. My energy will be spent on that fish, not on the smaller problems. So solve that one big problem and you will see that the problem will be solved. Even if you look at the Pareto principle, it lies on the same principle. Yes. 80% of the anxieties are caused because of those 20% of the problems. So we need to identify that 20. You solve that, much of your life will become sorted. So we need to invest our emotions and energy in that direction. By first identify clarity is identifying that 20, and then put your focus there, and you will see automatically other all things get sorted. That's how life works, right? So we'll talk a little bit more on how to be emotionally balanced and emotion management. I would suggest the wonderful team that manages this Bhakti Yoga Way sessions to kindly consider taking this. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I think Kirti had her hand raised. Kirti, do you still have something you'd like to say?
We would like to hear something from Kirti. You can unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna
Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Thank you so much for a great topic. Bola did cover a
Om
lot of.
Ajnanatimidandasya, light of knowledge. If it lights up, we'll be able to see.
Oh, you wanted me to turn on the lights?
You like remaining in the dark? Is there any reason?
No, that's not
Focus,
the case.
energy. No, it's not good for the eyes. Yeah.
You want me to turn on the light?
For your own good.
Okay. I am
Because darkness,
hoping
only one thing should be done in darkness, which is to take rest.
Let me turn on the light first.
Especially if you're with, we are getting enlightened, you're getting knowledge, you're doing some spiritual activities. Light up.
Sure.
Oh,
Thank you.
well, I thought there was some power cut in Canada. It is so unbelievable.
I feel much more calmer when lights are off that way, so that's why. Bola did cover a lot of part of my query, but I'll still ask the question. It is, how do we know we are truly reaching our potential rather than just trying randomly? And where do we draw the line between pushing ourselves and also not burning out, basically?
Okay.
Because sometimes we just think that we can fix this, we can do this, we can pursue this, and then of course it's out of our comfort zone and we are trying, we don't know if we are meant for it. Then where is this thin line of keep on continuing 1% a day, then not realizing if it's truly meant for you or no, between those lines?
Yes. So right approach towards life, rather than being outcome oriented, is to be process oriented.
Rose.
Very important. Right? Outcome oriented talks about things, okay, is this for me? Is this not for me? No. But if you look at the process oriented, all process that you do is you are investing in yourself. That's a process. Keep investing. And if you think that you're getting enriched, yes, you are being enriched, well, that's a good direction. Because your enrichment will definitely be useful in contributing somewhere in the future. On the other hand, if you feel you're feeling drained, then you need to change your process. Drained as in like you don't see any utility of your investment. Then you change. There is no problem. So, of course, we have a goal. You worked out a process, then you be process oriented and stick to the process. Keep investing in yourself. Keep going ahead. Right? Now, for example, let's see a situation. This is something very common situation in India. There is something called a chartered accountant. Many people try to go for this and oh my God, it's a big challenge. So people, you clear the first year, something fine. Most of the guys, you ask them, what are you? They say CA final year. Why final year? Because they're not able to clear the papers. They're stuck there. So many times at that particular point of time, people ask if are we meant for this path? So first question, have you given your best? And usually the answer is no. So you can answer only this question only when you're giving your best. Number two, fine, you're given your best. Number two, is there anything more? You've given your best in terms of your methods, your mindset, your motivation. But what if you're missing something in your core framework? Is there any additions that you can make to expanding your framework which will get you there? Because you gave your best within what you had.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay, fine. I'm going to add this, I'm going to add that. Then you give your best. Still, it doesn't work, right? Then you can. So that's what you need to have: the best tools, the best practices, and the best attitude. When with the three combination of these three bests, still we didn't make it, well, there is something else better waiting for us.
Thanks.
All right.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that I wish to acknowledge everybody who is here, everyone. Kirti, Nandini, Bola, Jill Prabhu, Ram Chiranjeevi Prabhu, Mini Prabhu, Aparami Prabhu, Jatin Prabhu, Nancy, welcome. You're coming for the first time. Welcome.
There is
Shamsi.
one more person who wanted to speak something. She
Okay.
couldn't raise her hand. She said it wasn't working. But Samira, if you still had something that you would like to
I
add,
just want to mention that in this particular channel, we'll have to conclude because there's a
yeah.
Bhagavatam class that starts at this time. But we can definitely take Sam's question offline. We'll take it offline. But I
Okay.
was just wanted to acknowledge all those who came. Khushbu Prabhu, Abhishek Prabhu, Ram Rode Prabhu, Harsh Govind Prabhu, Mohini Murthy Prabhu, and Purushottam Charan Prabhu, Samira, Rohit Prabhu, Malvika Prabhu, Kamal Prabhu, she was here, Monica Prabhu, I think she's come for the first time. Thank you all very much, Rajnai Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, and I'm sorry if I missed any names. But thank you all so much for coming, and well, more reflections and thoughts you can put it in the group. We'll love to read your thoughts and reflections. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.